Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. This is Scott G with the Simple Trading Life. Welcome, everyone, to our Tuesday edition of our live stream. And we're so glad that everyone can join us. Let me make sure I have your comments up here on my screen so I can see you. There we go. It says we already have some folks in the room. So welcome today. It's been a excuse me, weird weather day today here in Atlanta. It was sunny, hot, and humid this morning. Then it rained. It got cloudy and rained, and now it's sunny, hot, and humid again. But they say more rain is on the way, so we will see what happens. Currently, here on ES, it looks like we're getting a little bit of a fade here off of the top of our trend line, which is actually our expanding range. So this is happening in real time right as we're looking at it. We'll kind of see what it does. Potentially, it has a long way it could fall. I said this morning in the simpletradinglife.com community that I felt like there was more room to the downside than to the upside because of the trend line. Okay, and the trend line has acted as resistance both here and here, which I kind of anticipated it would. This red line down here is the upward channel that we have been in for a couple of weeks, actually. So I felt like if we could, that's what this alert is down here. If we could break 3190 to the downside, we could at least get to the bottom of this channel, if not lower. 3144.25 is one of our support levels. And then there's also, if I remember right, there's also some potential support around the 3135 to 3130 area right in there. And then here's our next level. So we'll see. Now that doesn't mean that we can't continue upward, right? Absolutely we can do that. If price was to make a bounce, break this and continue higher, the next level would be right up around here. Okay, where it started this downtrend last night around 2 a.m. Okay, if it would get above here, it could go higher. But overall, I think over the next day or two, there's more. I keep saying room. I was going to say upside to playing short, but upside is kind of a contradictory term when you're talking about it going down. But I think there's more room for price to drop, but that doesn't mean that it will. Okay, anything can happen at any time. We know that. The bullish momentum has been insane. Okay, again, we talk about it almost every time we do one of these live streams. There's absolutely no reason that the market continues to go up with the conditions both here in the United States and globally, and the economic situation that the world is in. But the market trades on perception, not on reality. So we have continued up for some time, and right now that trend continues until something happens. That trend continues, and we'll take a look at a couple of those things here in a minute. So welcome. It says a few more people have joined us, so glad to have everybody here. Let's look at the overnight action. So the overnight action started with this candle right here, and as you can see, what we basically did is we just chopped. All right, we were just in a range until 2 a.m. This is the 30-minute chart. Then at 2 a.m., we had this nice drop, and as you can see, we broke below and then kind of came back up to our support level at 31.99. Then we broke down, came back, broke down, came back, and we were just sort of straddling this level until the market opened. This first candle gave us a lot of whipsaw, back and forth. In our community, I was talking about that. It was very difficult to trade the open because of the whipsaw. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have went down first, then it went up, then it came back down to about opening price level, then it went back up, and then it ended up finishing down and actually got down to here on the second candle, but never really broke out of the bottom of this range, okay, this gray box. Then we went up, and I took some scalps on the way up here. Once price started showing that it had strength to the upside, I kind of thought probably going to go back up and test the top of the expanding range or the channel, however you want to look at it, because it is an expanding range. I'm going to show you that, but we've been in a channel for about 2 weeks. And it came up and it tested it, and it came down and it came back up and it tested it again. Then it sold off back to the 20. It actually got down here to opening price level. I actually kind of called that out in our community. I said, if price starts to drop, I think it can get back down to the opening price level. It did. I took a little scalp there. I know at least one other person in our room did as well. And then it caught this bounce, and it had strength back up to the trend line again, or the top of the range. And here's where we're at currently, okay? Currently rejecting off of the top of the range. So when I say expanding range, if you're new, let me show you what I'm talking about. The folks who've been in here a while, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me get this in. I can get a little bit closer than that. All right, there we go. So this is a 4-hour chart. This line and this line are the expanding range. And what we mean by that is, you can see at first we were going back and forth, right? Until here, it never came all the way back down to make a new low and continue expanding it. That's where we fell into this channel. Okay, you see the channel here. And then right up here is where we're at currently on the 4-hour. So if we would break this red line, then we would start looking to see, okay, are we going to drop all the way back down to the bottom of this expanding range? Okay, that's a long way. That's not something that would happen in one day, right? It would probably, well, just again, from here to here has been a couple of weeks, right? So if it started to drop, now typically you'll drop faster than you climb, but it's still, it's not something, I don't look for this to come down, break this line, and just immediately drop down here. Okay, but if we break this channel, okay, and as you can see, it's been respected up through here. Starting, you could basically stay there, but that was also testing the bottom of the range. But starting about right here, this trend line's been respected. Then we came up, we kind of broke out. Then we were riding along the top, then we dropped back in, and now here's where we're at currently. Okay, so that's the bigger view of ES. Let me, the E-minis. Let me go back to the 30-minute. Okay, a lot easier to see. Okay, so here's where we're at currently, and as you can see, it's starting to drop again. Make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so when we left, okay, it was up here, and we had a long wick. We're now starting to drop again. So if we really start to get some momentum to the downside, down in here would be the eventual target. Again, that might not be today. I'm not saying that's going to be today. I'm just saying down here would be your target, this upward channel, because until it's broken, that's your target. Because every time in the past couple of weeks that it's been down there, it's held. So you got to think in probabilities. I have some alerts here if it starts to go lower. The first one is if we clear opening price and the 31.99 support level, I'll have an alert go off. And then if we break 31.90, I have it set at 31.8925 because that's 3 ticks below. That would go off, and that's where you could really see the drop. It could be really quick, and I'll show you why. If we come back over here, all right, right? And we get back up here. Okay, so 31.90, and this pivot here is actually down to about 31.83. Yep, 31.83.25. Once you get below this, and that's not major, I mean, it is a little bit of a pivot there. Okay, but once you get below this, if you come over here to the left, there is nothing, unless bulls just happen to step in, there's nothing over here that would say that price would be stopped and coming down to this level, which is higher than this when we go to the future. This is in the past. Okay, but if you see here, no big wicks, nice little diagonal pattern, and then you have this big candle here. So in theory, you could even be looking at, say, 31.38 to 31.32 right in here. Okay, there'd be some supply in that area. That's if it really, really got going. So let me come back over. And again, we're not saying this will happen for sure. We're just saying if price really starts to get momentum to the downside, you'd be looking at this. Because look, the 200 is also confluent right here. This is your 200 simple moving average, and it's pretty much confluent with that uptrending channel, the bottom, this trend line. If it would break that, your next level would be 31.44.25, and if it would break that, it would look to drop into that 31.38 to 31.32 kind of supply zone, or excuse me, demand zone. So that's what you're looking at there. Now, what about to the upside? Well, to the upside, we kind of talked about it already. Right here is your first level, and that's around 32.24 up to 30, I can just do it this way, 32.31. So 32.24 to 32.21 or 31. Okay, that's if it started to go up. That would be your first area you would expect some resistance. Then you would be looking at the 32.40 area up here, and that should be 25. Let me change that. I don't know why. Whoop. 25. There we go. That would be your next level. And then there's a big gap between that one all the way up to 33.57. Now, there will be potential areas within there, okay, where it should catch some resistance, but these are the actual support and resistance levels based off of a 4-hour chart. So let me squeeze this back out. All right. And that's where we're at currently. So let's do this. I'm going to set an alert below this candle. And we're going to look at a few other things below. So if it starts getting any momentum down, we'll get alerted. And then let me come back over here. We're going to take a look at our watch list from today. We'll see if anything, here it is, has been paying off. So let's start with AMD. Let me go to the daily. And AMD. And I'll explain what we're looking for here. If I can get my thinkorswim to cooperate. And here we go. All right, so AMD was on our watch list because of an inside candle, but it was also in a contracting range. This is beautiful, right? This is beautiful. Okay, so our trigger was at 53.35, and this thing has been as high as 56.23 today. So from the trigger, it's been up almost $3. And as you can see, this is one of the biggest candles on the screen. So this is an awesome day for AMD. Anybody trading AMD, you made a mint today. Just the perfect setup to go long. You had your contracting range, that's what this wedge is. And we had a hammer, which was also an inside candle. So we had all kinds of things in our favor. Looking for a break. It broke above and it broke out at the same time. That's what I mean about it's like a perfect storm. So it was breaking above the hammer and breaking out of the wedge at the same exact time. So you can see what the result was. Absolutely beautiful on AMD. Let's go to Pepsi. Pep. Whoop. That's not what we want. We want Pep. There we go. My Thinkorswim is like loading kind of slow today. All right, not a lot, not a lot. We do, this is what we call a single candle power reversal. It came all the way and took this side out, and it's taken this side out, but your trigger would have been here, okay, right here. We wouldn't have caught this or this based on our rules. You would have caught, you could have potentially caught 131.83 up to 132.67, so almost not quite a dollar going this direction, and then it would have started to reverse back down. But as you can see, we were an inside candle, and then we've taken out both sides of that inside candle today. That's what we call a single candle power reversal. So that was Pep. Let's look at Play, which is Dave and Buster's. So our trigger would have been 1962, and it's been as low as 1795. So let's just say 18. So a little over $1.60 from our trigger to where the low was. Our trigger again was at 1962. You could even say 1960. Just round it off, and we've been as low as 1795. So very good winner there on Dave and Buster's, which is Play. PayPal. PayPal, our trigger was at 156.21. We've been as high as 158.21. So we've had $2. That's a winner there on PayPal. $2 from our trigger. And again, even if you don't catch all of that, if you catch $1.75, $1.60 of that, that's a winner on PayPal. You're getting paid. Okay, Shop. Let's look at Shop. All right, so Shop, what it did is it actually came down and then came back up through. So the trigger was actually 743.91. It's been as high as 754.80. So that is, let's see here, almost $11. Again, Shop, it's a little bit deceiving. Shop can really move, right? So like this candle over here, this was like $100 candle over here. This one, right? So that's why when I say $11 move, you're looking at that going, man, well, that's kind of small, meaning the candle. But yeah, it's an $11 move. Now this is more average, right? If you look at the average sizes of the candles, but you still, from the trigger, could have caught an $11 move. Okay, let's go to the next one. Trade Desk, TTD. We just had an alert on ES, so we'll go back and check. So Trade Desk, trigger was 360. It's been as high as 370.27, so $10 from our trigger. Okay, that's awesome. Let's go back over here. 30-minute. And we're just going to check in on ES since our alert went off. Okay, there we go. Okay, still dropping. It's working its way down. Again, we've already covered it at the beginning, so you know what we're looking at if it really, really starts to fall. Okay, I would suspect that if this really got going here, we might see some resistance kind of in this area, just like we did before. Excuse me, support. But if it gets down there, especially on one candle, or maybe even it gets down here and a second candle starts, it may be only a temporary bounce this time, or even a pause, and then might try to go lower. So it is really trying to push down. Let me look at something here. I see we have some other folks joining us, so welcome. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. That helps us with YouTube. Give me 1 second here to check a few things while price is dropping. Okay, that's what I needed to see. Okay. All right, just checking in on a couple of comments. Man, it's starting to go, isn't it? Starting to go. Let's do this. Let's check Twitter real fast. See if we had any news catalyst, or if this is just off of the top of the range. Let's go through here. So far, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. I just scroll through. Yeah, so far, yeah, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. So let's go back, and we'll watch it for a second, and then we'll check out a few more of the names. But yeah, that's a pretty significant drop right here off of the top of the expanding range. So we are already, this is already basically almost a $12 candle. $11.50 already. And we'll see if this thing's just going to keep dropping. And if it does, again, we would expect, possibly to either see some slowdown, some kind of support. Right down in here, you have the 20, you have opening price, and you have a support level. That's why we got this bounce earlier. I would not expect to see the same type of bounce the second time. Okay. Usually once you get back into this area again, it's going to be weaker, right? It's going to be weaker. And, we could see some sort of a bounce, but then maybe, like that, like a bounce, and then we go back and then try to go through. And then the next level, you'd be looking at this here. So still watching. Yep, still an $11.50 candle to the downside, which is fairly significant. I apologize if you can hear my 6-year-old. He's running around the house screaming right now. He loves to be loud, so I apologize, but what are you going to do, right? 6-year-olds. All right, I'll probably set in another alert. Says we got a couple more people joining us, so welcome. Let's do this. Let's set it maybe just below here. And we can go back and continue looking at some of the other names. There we go. That's just below that little wick there. So if that goes off, we'll know it's continuing down. And we can come back to it. I think price action is exciting myself. I like to watch it. All right, so back to our list. We just did Trade Desk, and now let's look at United Airlines. All these names are on our list for different reasons. We have price action reasons. Okay, so here our trigger would have been 44.57, and we've been as low as 41.50, so a $3 move to the downside. Another winner right off the watch list. Okay, Alta. Let's look at Alta. All right, Alta, the trigger would have been at 248.44. It's been as low as 244.18, so over a $4 move, another winner from our trigger, over $4. Baba. Watch list has really been pretty good lately. Nothing to do on Baba. Okay, no triggers. That's a great thing about how we trade is unless you get a trigger, there's nothing to do. Netflix. Okay, Netflix, we had a trigger at 420.80 and it's been as high as 432.13. So about $11 to the upside, over $11. It got all the way up here to the 20 before it caught some resistance. So another winner there. And the watch list is on fire today. What was that next one? I missed it. Netgear. And I talk about this all the time. Sometimes the watch list only gives us 3 or 4, winners, and other times it gives us, like 80% of the watch list is a winner. All right, so here our trigger would have been 26.52, and we've been as low as 26.18. Netgear is a little bit different than others. Okay, so that is 52.20. So that's a little bit. That's about 34 cents. Doesn't seem like much, but look at the size of the candles. Right? Doesn't look like much, but the average size candle is like this candle here is not even $1. Right? So if you got a 32 cents move. When your average size candles are less than $1, probably made some money on Netgear. Okay, Place, which is Children's Place, and we're almost through the list already. We're flying through. We might be off of here fairly early today unless we get some excitement from other places. All right, Place. This is going to be awesome. Trigger 51.82. It's been as low as 48.34, so that's $3.50, and it's still going. $3.50 from the trigger, and that is a gorgeous setup. Okay, now what we mean here, we trade price action. Look at this strong move. We had a little structure right there. Strong move right up into the 200, and then bam, we get a shooting star. This is what we live for, these kind of setups. The trigger is anything below here. So when it opened up today, it opened up right there and just started down. That is your trigger immediately because you're already below here. Okay, and it is just, it's paying off big time. Okay, so on Children's Place, a $50 name basically, a $3.50 move, that is huge. I mean, look, this is, other than this candle right here, this is the biggest candle on the screen. Well, on this one, of course. So this one and this one. Okay, but you see this here, $3.50 to the good. And what you have here is we've got earnings coming up on the 11th. Today is the 9th. We had the strong run up, bounces right off the 200 yesterday, creates this hammer. Traders, this is what you're looking for right here. You should take a snapshot of this. These are the kind of trades. Exact opposite. If you had a strong move to the downside and then you get a hammer off of something like the 200 or some key level of support, that is a perfect setup as well. You still look for your trigger. So let's just say price opened up in here and just kind of waffled around in here. Nothing to do. But as soon as you're below here, so this gap down, this is a gap and go, right? Gap, and it just went. That's why they call it a gap and go. All right. This is what you're looking for. Okay, so another one right off the list. 2 more names. Stitch Fix, SFIX. Not much there. It barely triggered right here, which would have been 24.82, and it only went to 24.68. So this one here, Just nothing really. I mean, it would have triggered. Now it went up first, then it came all the way back down through. Never took out the top. Came all the way back down through and just poked its head out. This is tough, right? Because you've got a support level right here, and that's what's kind of hanging it up. And then I think we had one more. Paycom. Payc. And this one, not a whole lot. I don't think it's even triggered. Nope, no trigger. Okay, so out of our list today, here's our list. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 names. I think there was only 3 that didn't pay off. So what is that percentage-wise? That's like 80-some%, right? This is a good day, and a lot of them paid very, very well. So the watch list has been really, really good lately. And we do look. Again, just join us in the simpletradinglife.com community. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just go to simpletradinglife.com, click on the free chat room button. Just join us in there, and we'll start teaching these things. And you'll know what we look for, why something is on our watch list, how we look to trade things. All right, so here's what we did. We got this big candle. We started a new one. Okay, so right now price is like making this little move here. This is a total guess. Unless this takes out about the 50% level, this is probably just a relief bounce, and then we'll probably get down in here and kind of test this. Let's look here. Yeah, because the bottom of this body is confluent with the 20. But again, anything can happen at any time. So let's just do this here. If we get up to about the 50% level, or I should say above the 50% level of this candle, then there's a good chance we could come up here and try this again, right? It's possible. But once you've had a big candle like this, it'll make sense that this one will rest, or you'll get a relief bounce. Now, what is rest? Okay, rest means it's going to close somewhere in this bottom 25 to 30% of the candle. We like to see dojis, shooting stars, or spinning tops. Those would be the best in this situation because of the strong candle down. That would tell us that we're looking for more downside movement. Okay, that's what that would tell us. If this thing takes out about the 50% level, okay, we could figure that out. 32.18, so it was 11.5. So that would be 575, right? So 575, well, 6 would be 12, and 1225. Okay, so 32, 12, 25 is 50%. 32, 12, 25. If we take that out, okay, there's a possibility that it could continue higher. If we don't, somewhere in this candle, and this comes back in here, and we end up with any one of those things, a doji, a spinning top, or a shooting star, then we would look for more downside movement, okay, probability-wise. Okay, now it's still trying to push here. Let's set, where is that? It's almost there now. It's getting close. I'm going to set an alert there. 32, 12, 25. Okay, so if it takes that out and holds that, that could be a sign that that drop, right, was just bears rushing in, and now the bulls are going to try to come back in and push it back up again. But you can already see what's happening. See this? Okay, we're already dropping back down. Now, it will be a real show of bearish strength if this candle goes red and takes out the bottom and continues lower. Okay, typically, after you've had a big candle like this, okay, look here, big candle, what do we get next? A resting candle. Okay, a doji, a spinning top, or, in this case, if it was going to be an upside move, we would have probably been looking at maybe a hammer. Okay, look at this over here. just in the last 30 to 60 seconds, we went from big green all the way back down to where this candle opened. Now, if bears, again, if bears could push it all the way through underneath here, that's incredible bearish strength right now. Because I would almost expect, you see this, that this candle will be some sort of a resting candle, a doji, a spinning top, or in this case, a shooting star. Like if it would end just the way it is right now, that'd be a bearish signal. Okay, but we got a long time. We got just under 24 minutes to go on this candle. But that's why I'm saying this early, if it pushed up like that, okay, got up near where the 50% mark was, and then pushes all the way back down and takes out the bottom here, especially if it would take this out, that would be incredible strength by the bears. And that would just be continuing this downward trajectory that I think makes more sense. Okay, but who knows, right? We'll see. We'll see. We got a lot of time left. Let me see. Is there anything else? Let's look at a couple of popular names. This will be a short one today. I have some things I am working on that I got to get back to. All right, here's Apple. Wow, look at Apple today. Big, strong move up, and now you see it looks like it's rolling over. Okay, see that? This is what we mean when somebody says rolling over. Okay, bigger candles. Okay, here was a resting candle. Okay, bigger candles, and then we start losing momentum. Smaller, smaller. Now we go red, and we start working our way down. Okay, that's what they call rolling over right there. Okay, you can see it's starting to get some push to the downside. Apple. Let's look. Let's see what Amazon is doing. Okay, same thing. Same thing. You see this? Strong, 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 strong. And then here's where it starts to lose momentum. Doji, spinning top, big red, and now it's starting to go red. All right, I'm just looking at some popular names right now. Let's see, let's look at BA. Okay, Boeing actually went down first, tried to come back up, but it caught the 20, and now it's selling down. Let's look at Google. Let me find it. Here's Google. Okay, same thing. Big, strong move to the upside, runs out of steam, now it's selling off. Okay, so now you're starting to see a picture, right? All these bigger, popular names are all doing similar things. Let's look at Microsoft. Here it is. Big move up. Okay, this is just structure here. Pulls back and then goes higher, loses its momentum, starting to sell off. We already looked at Netflix. Let's look at NVIDIA. Strong move up. Then it consolidated. Now it's dropping. Okay, tried to push up. You see it's forming a shooting star right now. Okay, so all of these bigger popular names are all doing the same thing. Let's see what Roku's doing. Same thing. Okay, but look at Roku. Dropped, I mean, almost like a flush, down, right to support. Okay, right to support. Strong move back up, right to resistance. Right? And these lines, I'm telling you, you guys who follow me, I haven't touched these lines on Roku in weeks, and they're still just as valid. Right back up, and now it's selling off. Let's see here. Anything else? Let's look at Tesla. Okay, Tesla first move down, okay, to support, then up, back to the 20, up again. Now it's selling off, and we'll see if it catches any support there at the 20. And one last one, let's look at Twitter. Okay, Twitter actually went the other way. It went down, back up, and then it's actually kind of in a consolidating. If I drew it in for you, make it easier. Okay, it's kind of in a contracting range right now. See this? Okay, you should be able to see that with your eyes. I don't typically draw them in unless I'm drawing them in for you guys. But you should be able to see this with your eye. You see this? Down, back up, back down, and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay, so eventually this will pop one way or the other. I'll just leave that on there. Let's look at Walmart. We haven't looked at Walmart. Wow, Walmart. Man, that thing's a mess. Look at this. Opened up here, and you have you've got a contracting range on it as well. And it looks something like this. Actually, this needs to be up a little bit higher. Let me activate. Okay, so it needs to be like that. So look at this thing. Man, it'd be hard to trade that. Okay, you could have maybe caught this. It spiked up and then it flushed down. But then back up, back down, back up, back down. You see how it's just chopping along in there? And let's go back. Take a look at ES. Okay, so again, ES catching just a tiny bit of support. Okay, and it's mostly because we had such a dramatic move down. Right? That's not a huge wick. That's a small wick. Okay, these are smaller wicks. But when you get this dramatic move down like that, especially on a 30-minute or an hourly, some kind of candle like that, your next candle is typically a resting candle, or sometimes even a reversal candle. So we're just going to keep our eye on that. Anybody have any questions about anything? I'm going to jump off of here relatively quick today. We're only going to be on here for about 45 minutes today. Again, I covered, if you missed the beginning, you can go back and watch. This will be uploaded on the YouTube channel when we're done. But here was the range that we were in. And that was from about 4:30 until 10:30. So about 4:30 in the morning till about 10:30 in the morning, we were just ranging. Then we broke out up here to the top of the expanding range, which I showed you, back down to opening price level, and actually right to our support level at 31.99. You see that? Right to it. Then boom, big move back up, back to the top of the expanding range, then big drop down, and then here's where we're at currently. So that kind of brings everybody up to speed. Again, if you would, give us a thumbs up. If there is anything I can do for you, come to our room, simpletradinglife.com. It's totally free. Click on the free chat room button. Come on in there. You can ask me anything you want. You can ask it in the chat. You can ask me via DM, direct message, and I try to answer every question that I possibly can. And I'm updating the charts on ES so everybody always knows what the overall market's doing. I trade ES a lot. There's a lot of people in our room that trade it, but there's a lot of people that trade other things, okay? That, trade equities, trade forex, trade metals. But it's always important to know what the overall market is doing, right? Because that kind of plays into how you're going to trade those other things, or at least it should. So if you would, come check us out. We'd love to have you, and we treat everybody with respect. We're just a bunch of average folks that nobody has any egos. We're all trying to help. I'm trying to help you become consistently profitable, and that's really our only goal. So again, check us out, simpletradinglife.com, absolutely free. Click the free chat room button, and we'll see you in the room. Have a good day. Bye-bye.